Hi, I'm Marie Gale. I'm the author of Soap and Cosmetic Labeling, How to Follow the Rules and Regs Explained in Plain English. And in this video, we're going to go over the label of a product that I purchased and see if the label is correct and look at all the different label parts. Hopefully this will give you an idea how to review labels that you see in the store, but also how to put together your own label if you're making soap and cosmetic products. So the product we're going to look at is one that I purchased from Trader Joe's. It is this one here, Trader Joe's foaming hand soap. Okay. And so you can see on the front, so before we get into this, on the front of a label, the front of the product where the person is going to see the product when it's sitting on a shelf, that front panel is called the principal display panel. And it is the panel that requires certain information so that the consumer can see what they're looking at. It requires the product name, the identity of the product, and the net contents that are in the package. It can also include the brand name, any marketing text that's applicable. So those things can also go on the front, but what you absolutely have to have is the name, the identity, what it is, and the net contents. And there are some requirements for the net contents, what we'll get into. So when we take a product like this, here we go, we have this thing from Trader Joe's, and this front panel is the principal display panel, and it determines the size of the text that's needed. So this is more than 5 square inches, this whole front part here. So that determines that the net contents have to be at least 1/8 of an inch high. So we'll get to that in a second. So what do we have on here? We have Trader Joe's, that would be their brand name. Not required, but a good idea. We have Botanical Bounty, that is their name of their product. It doesn't really tell you anything, it's just the name of their product. So if this is a good thing, because if you were sending somebody to the store, you'd say, go to Trader Joe's and get foaming hand soap. But there may be different kinds of foaming hand soap. So you say, go to Trader Joe's and get Botanical Bounty foaming hand soap, and somebody would know right quick what you mean. So that's the product name. And then you have the product identity, which here is foaming hand soap. And that tells the consumer what they're getting. They see this bottle. Most people recognize these as foaming pumps nowadays, but somebody might think, oh, this is a lotion because it's in a pumping bottle, or oh, it's dish soap or whatever. But this here tells somebody that what they're buying is foaming hand soap. So that's required on the label, and Trader Joe's does a great job of getting that information on there. So the next thing is the net, we're going to put over here, net contents. And here you see it's 8 fluid ounces or 237 milliliters. Since this is a liquid product, it needs to be labeled out in volume, which in this case is volume ounces, and milliliters. This bottle is probably an 8-ounce bottle. It probably to about here is 8 ounces, maybe a little bit more. So you know that there's 8 fluid ounces in here. Because it says fluid ounces, you know it's fluid. When you do by weight, you have to say it's the net weight, but when it's fluid, you don't have to put net or net contents in there unless you want to. And in this case, they didn't. They just put the fluid ounces and the milliliters, and that's all that's required. Now, the net contents have to be unobstructed. They have to be clearly visible. So let's see. Yes, unobstructed. It's over top of this design, but the design doesn't interfere with understanding it. It needs to be 1/8 of an inch high. Since this is all capital letters, we would be measuring the uppercase, yes, milliliters. It doesn't count, that little m. It's still considered capital. So we measure the uppercase L to see if it's 1/8 of an inch. So let's take a look. Turn this around. we're measuring that L. So you can see here that that L is in fact 1/8 of an inch high. So this net contents is in fact big enough. It meets the requirement. So the other requirement is that it's in the bottom third of the label. So it is in the bottom third down here, this part. And it's also parallel with the bottom. So when somebody's looking at the package, it's standing up on the shelf, they can read it straight across. So the front of this package meets all of the requirements and is a legal front label. Now, on the rest of the label, the rest of the package, there are other things that are required. Normally, you would be required to have the product ingredients for a cosmetic. You're going to have the ingredients on the back, and they're going to be listed by the name that is in the cosmetic ingredient dictionary. And let's see, my cosmetic ingredient dictionary, you can see it over here. That's the cosmetic ingredient dictionary. It's 5 volumes, and it lists out all of the ingredients that are used in cosmetic. There's about 24,000 ingredients listed in there. And it has descriptions, trade names, chemical identifiers, other things like that that are help somebody identify what the product, what the ingredient is. And so it's called the Cosmetic Ingredient Dictionary and Handbook. There's some other cross references and things in it, but we want to make sure that the ingredients that are listed in the ingredient dictionary use the correct name that's in the cosmetic ingredient dictionary. Except that in the United States, the FDA has said that they would prefer to have the English common name for botanical ingredients, as they think that people in the United States are going to understand English better than the Latin scientific name. That said, the international standard, the INCI, the international nomenclature, is that they use the Latin scientific name, and that's how botanicals are listed generally in the cosmetic ingredient dictionary. So the FDA doesn't seem to be enforcing that, so you'll see a lot of ingredients listed by their botanical name in the scientific form and ingredient declarations in the United States. So let's see what Trader Joe's has done here. You can see that. It's a little hard to see. So these are the ingredients down here. Can we get that? No, I will read them because I can't see them well enough. So this includes water, cocamidopropyl betaine, which is a detergent, polyquaternium 7, glycerin, polysorbate 20, tocopherol acetate, that's vitamin E, Boragio officinalis extract, Aloe barbadensis leaf extract, Linneum ostiaceum linseed extract, Arnica montana flower extract, Chamomilla reticula medicaria flower extract, Lavandula angustifolia lavender flower extract, sodium chloride, citric acid, phenolexethanol, and fragrance. So since this is a detergent-based product with the cocamidopropyl betaine, wow, it is a cosmetic, even though it's called a foaming hand soap. It is a cosmetic and not exempt from the definition of a cosmetic. So it does require the ingredient declaration. So on here, we did have all the ingredients, and you notice that they were in the scientific name. They didn't even have the English in parentheses. So those are all the plant names of all of the different extracts that are in this soap. Some of them I'm familiar with, some of them I'm not. I would actually personally have to look them up, but There you go. They are all in there. And like I said, the FDA wants them in English, but don't seem to be enforcing it. So we do have the ingredient declaration. All right. And then the other thing that's required on the back or somewhere on an informational panel is the business name and address. And it has to include the city, state, and zip. It also has to include the business name of the responsible party. It would be whoever manufactured it, or if it was manufactured for another company, then the other company would be listed as distributed by or manufactured for. The actual street address is required if it's not listed in a readily accessible, publicly available, easily findable resource, either a print or online. So let's see what Trader Joe's puts down for their business name and address. Can we see that? It's right here at the bottom. It says distributed and sold exclusively by Trader Joe's. And it has the city, state, and zip code. So we do have, it was apparently manufactured for Trader Joe's by somebody, we don't know whom, but it is distributed and sold exclusively by Trader Joe's. So that tells you that if you had any problem with this, you would want to contact Trader Joe's. So that only took up this little bit of the back label. So the rest of what's on the back label is going to be, should be any directions for safe use or any material facts that somebody would need in buying this product, and any marketing text. So there's obviously a lot of text here. It's very tiny, so I will read it and you can see what Trader Joe's has to say. It says, lush, rich, and enriching Trader Joe's Botanical Bounty Foaming Hand Soap will leave your hands not only clean, but smooth and moisturized as well. We use naturally derived surfactants from coconut oil, along with nourishing ingredients like aloe vera leaf extract, chamomile extract, and botanicals like linseed and lavender. So now, all right, we'll go on. 2 quick pumps of the dispenser give you a luxuriously foamy soap free of parabens, sulfates, alcohol, phthalates, and synthetic dyes. Treat your hands to the bounty of the botanical world with Botanical Bounty Foaming Hand Soap. Directions: wet hands, work into a rich lather, rinse. Warning: use as directed, discontinue use if irritation occurs, avoid contact with eyes. So these warning labels are not required. There's nothing in the FDA regulations that says you have to have those warnings on there, but apparently Trader Joe's felt that that was appropriate for their foaming hand soap and put it on there. They also included directions, which most people know the directions for foaming hand soap. It's probably not an absolute requirement, but a good idea. And then in the first part that I read, there was a lot of information, marketing text that tells people why they should buy this particular soap or product. So they do say that they have naturally derived, what did that say exactly? It was, we use naturally derived surfactants. So what they're using in there is cocamidopropyl betaine, which does originally come from coconut oil, but is processed and is actually classed as a synthetic detergent. It's a synthetic detergent that is processed off of coconut oil. So whether or not that's within your particular guidelines of what you would consider to be truthful is pretty much a call. You know, you can say anything comes from something natural because everything that we make comes from something that was already on the planet. So I've seen this claim about that particular detergent, that it's naturally derived or botanically derived. Judgment call. Judgment call. I have my own opinion, but and then, you know, it says that there's a bunch of different extracts and things in there, which it does seem to be in there from the ingredient declaration. So that's the marketing text. It also says cruelty-free. on this little symbol over here, it's cruelty free. So that's the material, the information that Trader Joe's is giving you about this foaming hand soap and why you should buy it. Their marketing text. So bottom line, label review wise, they have the product name, the product identity, and the net contents all correctly placed on the front panel. And they have the ingredient declaration and directions for safe use and other pertinent information on the back panel, which is correct. The only thing is that in the United States, the FDA has said they want the common name for botanical ingredients. But as I said, the international standard is to use the scientific name, and the FDA doesn't seem to be taking offense if a product uses those in their ingredient declaration. So all in all, I think Trader Joe's Botanical Bounty Foaming Hand Soap gets a pass. I'll see you next time with another review of a product so you can get an idea of what it takes to make a correct label.